I became depressed as a result of being separated and divorced from my husband, and I became single at a very young age.
You mentioned something about depression, like maybe leaving home. Were you really there? Because it's a space where, I don't know, depression, sometimes some people are depressed, they don't even know they are depressed.
Mhm.
And so early detection of things like this is what really help people. You see people, they say some people just commit suicide and you don't know what they've been battling for a long time. What are the things one can do, to be in a better place? If you think you have depression, what are the things, the resources one can use and all of that? Anything useful on depression, please?
I'm going to talk on my experience because it's a broad topic. I don't have any experience in delving into and understanding what it entails. I'm just going to share my own experience. So I became depressed as a result of being separated and divorced from my husband. And I became single at a very young age. And it was something that I really struggled with. At the time, I wanted my marriage to work, and I sought counsel, but my husband at the time was not interested. And I just felt that my life was over.
Wow.
I could not see any future, beyond. It's funny. I could not see any future beyond marriage at that time. It's over, it's finished. What am I living for?
Wow.
And I don't know if when people talk about heartbreak, they've experienced what I did, because I experienced physical heart pain. Like, I've never had any pain in that area at all. So it's not something that I would say, oh, it's something that happens. But at that time, I was experiencing physical pain in my heart. So I feel maybe that's what they mean by heartbreak, because this was physical.
Wow.
It was really bad. I didn't feel like eating. I just wanted to be a recluse, we call it. I wanted to be by myself. I've always had this dream of owning an orphanage and taking care of homeless kids. I was just thinking, God, why do I have a child? If I didn't have this child, I could just go to a remote village and help an orphanage and live there for the rest of my life. I just wanted to disappear from the surface of the earth.
Wow.
So it was just a terrible, sickening feeling. And it kept on getting worse. I started to lose my memory.
Wow.
I would be talking to you about something and I would forget what we're talking about.
Wow.
I had not had that kind of experience ever. It was bad, and my parents were afraid. And they would pray for me and with me and encourage me, and just wanted me to be around people to bring some joy and lightness in my life and all that. And it was a torturous, painful process for me. And it affects you physically because you become ill. Because the doctors might be able to explain this better, but I think that your body is releasing some stuff that is not good for it, and it's just making your system, behave in a way it should not behave. And I would say that I just took one day at a time to start to get out from that phase of my life. I would not think about tomorrow, because as far as I was concerned, there was no tomorrow. So I will just say, okay, so what are we doing today? What's the goal today? Let's just take today as if it's our last day. But I would say that the kind of upbringing I had, and knowing the final fate of man, FATE, I would not consider suicide is not an option for me. And that should not be an option for anybody, regardless of what the situation is. It should never be an option at all. Never. The only option is to walk through whatever it is and always know that it's going to get better. It can never continuously get worse. So if you think of it that way, it's not easy to see when you're in that, going through that process, when you're in that period of your life, and that's where faith, I would say, comes in. Don't even think about suicide. Don't think about, it might be okay to hang out by yourself sometimes, because that's the way you might be able to deal with some things. Because for me, sometimes being around people reminded me of how much of a failure I was. I would go to church, I would feel so unwelcome. I would feel like I didn't fit in. Thinking about it now, it was a terrible period, but I thank God.
Thank God.
It can only be God.
Yes.
Because not everybody goes through that and comes out, but
I'm telling you, like,
I don't know how God saw me through, but He did.
Is it the environment? Because I know that societal expectation, do you think that those contributed to that feeling like, oh, I don't fit in and all of that? Or is it just is it that maybe it's more from the pain and the insecurities from inside?
I'll say it's the society and myself.
Okay.
Because I am the one that was really concerned about what the society thought of me. And based on that way that I felt about myself, it was difficult. It was so difficult for me to just exist. So I would, for instance, go to church, and I just felt I couldn't fit in. You know how we have churches and we have meetings, and then we call for married and single, and then the single will specify it's this age, and married will specify it's this age. But and you also know, like in secondary school, we have father, mother, children.
Yeah.
We have people that just have father.
Sure.
And maybe their mom is dead.
Wait.
Or maybe their dad got their mom pregnant and was never in the picture.
Sure.
And don't you think these things affect them? I'm not saying that we should not mention an ideal family, because that's ideal. But I'm saying when that's the only thing that you make to be the way people can fit in,
but they used to define family.
Difficult, yes. But I would say that my church at the time, the pastor's wife really encouraged me. At the time that when me and my husband parted, I was teaching the teenage church. So at that time I was seeking for counseling. I went and told the pastor's wife, I told her, here's what's going on. I feel inadequate to teach these kids because of what I'm passing through. And she told me, it's because you're telling me what you're passing through. A lot of people you see here in churches, you don't know what's going on in their houses. You are being honest, you are being yourself, and you are being accountable, and that's why you're telling me what you're going through. You will go through this and God will help you.
Wow.
But as much as you want to teach these kids, don't feel unqualified. So I think that was the strongest encouragement that I received, Because it's different if someone is living in sin
Sure.
and then you're teaching. That's wrong.
You are here not because you want to be there. The space where you are right now. Yeah. So I get
Right. Yeah. And so, I also had the pressure of the society. Everybody's asking, what's happening? Where is she? And I was telling myself, wow, I just got married. And now I'm going to leave my husband's house. And then I won't have a husband. Like, what will people think? When my name comes up in conversations, they will say, oh, you know how we describe people, be like that lady that has a kid without a husband, or this, how I was like, wow. So is that going to be like my name tag or my description and all that? And it was really strong, especially in Nigeria. But coming here, people here are quite accepting. This place it's extreme. It's extreme because I remember one time I was in church and they were like, if you've been divorced, raise your hand. And I looked around and I was like, almost everybody's hand is up. I'm like, what's happening here? Something is really wrong. This is like extreme. But back home, like nobody's divorced, everybody's walking through things. And I think that's how it should be, because there's no perfect person.
Yeah.
You think you're going to leave this marriage and go and have it good elsewhere? It's a, I think marriage is something you determine. It's like love. You understand? Love is not how you feel butterflies in your heart. Love is kind. Love is patient. Love is work. You walk through things.
Thank you. That is the key word. I was going to say that. So what would you tell people that are going through this kind of thing?
Yeah, I'll just tell them to take one day at a time and to work on their walk with God. A lot of times, I honestly thank God for the background that I have, because I would say that that's my greatest foundation, and I'm hoping that's what I pass on to the next generation. My parents, we spend time every single day without fail reading God's word. My parents are the example of Christians. And I also think that's what made me not to know a lot of things. Like if someone said they were a Christian, I would think that they were a Christian, because my parents were Christians and they were Christians. If my dad says he's here, he's there. If my dad says something, if my mom says something, they keep the word, they find it to be true. So I'll just say your foundation is very important. And so your foundation is what's going to help you to get back on your feet. Because let's say that someone comes to fight you. It's what you have that you're going to use to defend yourself.
Sure.
And the same way, if you're passing through something and you're going to get through that, it's what you already have in you and what is placed around you at the time that is going to help you to get through that. So I'll say that the foundation that my parents, built in me and us, my siblings as kids, helped me. So having a relationship with God, and not just the type that we say, you use God when it's convenient. And I do that. You ask God, please do this, do that, do that. And then when he does that, you spend less time. It's like, sometimes I tell myself, why is it that I spend more time in prayer when things are not going as I think it should, than when it should. But there should not be any difference. You understand? If you have a relationship with someone, it's not like, Dad, I want. And then when you have, you now disappear and go like the prodigal son. So I'll say that it's again what you have. Build that relationship with God. Take it seriously. I'm being very intentional these days, and it's a struggle. What I listen to, because it becomes part of you. The kinds of conversations I have, the kinds of people that I hang out with, you have to be intentional because you're building yourself. He has given us everything that we need to succeed. If you're a Christian, God has said that He's with you always. So really, if God is with me always, then what can go wrong? You understand? So I have to be intentional about building myself, because if you don't do it, no one is going to do it for you. Connect with people. Share. Sometimes we keep to ourselves, and that's me. Sometimes I keep a lot of things to myself. You're just dealing with things. Or maybe the person that God has brought your way has been placed there by God to help you deal with those things easier. It's not every time you share with people, but sometimes if you feel that God is telling you to share, maybe there's a reason. It's a process. I don't have any answers, honestly. I don't have any answers. I'm definitely a work in progress.
I am too. Everybody is, right?
Progress. And like I said, I just take one day at a time. I don't think much about tomorrow. I plan. But I'm like, today is here. I wake up, I say, God, I'm still here. I thank you for another day. And that's it. I will just keep going. Yeah.
Like that, like God says in His word, don't worry, don't be anxious about your life, Yeah. Look at it, and it says we should look at the sparrows. They don't toil, they don't spin, yet God takes care of them. So yes, I think that's definitely a right attitude to life, honestly, generally for every one of us, because from time to time we have needs, we have things that maybe we are looking up to God for, maybe some kind of intervention, Lord. Why is this not working, and all of that. And it's one of the things I'm learning to, just like you say, a work in progress. I am a work in progress. This is Sounds and Hope channel, a channel where we spread hope in form of songs, interviews such as this one, career talks and career opportunities. And please, if you have not subscribed, click on the subscribe button, hit like and share this video. Thank you so much for joining us.
Click the button.
Yeah.
Wherever the button is, just click.
Yeah, thank you. So please don't forget to leave your comments in the section. She would like to read from you. Let's hear. Yes, please. Thank you so much.
I'm going to reply. All right.
Definitely. All right. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.